Hi and welcome back. Now in the previous video I purchased these fantastic clay peg tiles. Now they're in period of the building that I've already got, so yeah, absolutely fantastic purchase. So this was the last of them. I've got between 2,400 2,500 in total, and they will go to roof this barn. So I'm going to get these unloaded before we start today's video. So before I can head back into the cottage and start working there, I've got to get these tiles off because the sun is getting very, very hot. We're forecast to be up in the 90s today, so yep, I'm keen to get back inside. So yes, I was very pleased to come across these. Been looking for quite some time. Now, I like these for several different reasons. The main one is it's authentic. It's how this place would have been re-roofed. So, yep, these date back to when this property was built, you know, quite a few hundred years ago. It's reusing what we've already got, or what someone else has already got. So we got the, you know, the reuse, the upcycling, whatever you want to call it, side of it, and the cost. Now these are probably half to maybe a bit more or less than new ones, so yeah, and I think they're a much more superior product than what's already on there, the slate, which has a lifespan. I mean, these do as well, you know, don't get me wrong, but I think they'd far outlast the slate, so that's why I'm going with this. It's very unforgiving as well. With these ancient old roof structures, they're not dead flat. You can make them dead flat, but I think that kind of takes away the charm of them. Going to run with what we've got and just reinforce it, and these allow that, you know, they've got a natural undulation to them which I find very sort of natural. I won't lie to you, they're hard work to double handle. Normally, you know, if you ordered slate or something like that, they'd come in a pallet, you plonk them down. Hey, you know, there you go. What would you do? Would you do all this back-breaking work just for authenticity and aesthetics? I think most of you would. To think each one of these has all been handmade. Yep. Very natural product. So we are back in the relative coolness of the cottage. Now because this is sort of subterranean, it kind of holds a more sort of stable temperature, so there are benefits of these buildings being sunk half into the ground. So we're continuing with the footing and the retaining wall. Don't forget, I'm trying to reuse all of the rocks and stones that I've dug out of this area, so you know, it's kind of going in but going back with a different order. This one's got to be trimmed. So we've got a good few inches of gravel down. This is to keep it clean, so no clay or anything can mix in with the gravel and stop it performing its duty, which is to evaporate any moisture in there. Okay, so we're just going to try this. Just a bit of a upstand there. Is that rock? Okay, the next challenge is to find the right shaped stone to fit in that back area there. Okay, let's see what stones we got. Not quite. Let's see what we've got in our stone pile. Oh, it's hot out here. Well, that one's a possibility. I'll run a tape over that. Yeah, these are all the cleaned ones. I've got others, but they need to be cleaned first. Yes, we're up in the mid-30s, must be touching 90, 95, something like that. Yeah. Whew. Let me know what the weather's like where you are. I know lots of you say, hey, we get that all the time, but oh, I really do struggle in the heat. Just have to pace myself. Yeah, I think I can work with that. I like to just lay them out first before I set them in, just to make sure everything's going to work. I like to wet the stones as well so they don't suck out all the moisture from the lime. And lots of you did guess the reason why I put the gravel in between the mortar. Yeah, one of you was right in a way that it does stop when you put a stone on top. If I was to lay another course immediately after, those stones, the small stones, stop the heavy stones crushing the mortar, so it allows it to settle down to a point, still allowing a good bed of mortar. Not that I've done it because of that, it just so happens to be another benefit, but I normally let it set before I go on top of it again, because obviously I have to cut the stones by hand and there's lots of mixing and that, filming on my own, so that's why I like to mix up the mortar dry, and then I can just use a bucket as I go. Otherwise I'd be racing against the clock. Yeah, I could have gone to the Bricko and purchased some concrete blocks and, you know, had it down in no time, but where's the fun in that? One here. Yep. I'll just leave them protruding a little bit and just allow it to key into the next course. Yep, it's not an exact science, but you've got to get somewhere close. So just by tamping it down, it works its way down into all the voids. Okay, so while that's setting, I think it's important to sometimes just sit down, take stock and think about the best course of action to take with the next phase of it really. I've got to come up another level, another course of stonework yet, but I think once I've reached another course, then I've got to start thinking about how I'm going to start the actual framework of the wall that's going to go on top of the stonework. I've got a few ideas. I think I'm going to place some timbers down on there and see how it looks, to kind of give me a guide of how it's going to turn out. Okay, yeah, let's have a quick look, see what I've got. Now this is what I've been using for the perimeter of the sunken entrance hall. So I know that I can readily get these from the wood yard. So we'll put that down first. It may be that it's set further back. It's just to get a guide at the moment. So I could have that running across the top of the second course, and that would be a great base continuation of the wall. So I did want to pick up underneath the main supporting beam with a post, maybe something like this. I've used this to prop up and incorporate in the fireplace area, so maybe kind of set it back a bit. That one to go right up and pick up the underside of the beam. And then once I've built a framework, It allows space behind for insulation, pipe work, ducting, anything like that. Yeah, water pipes as well. So yeah, I think that'll be very in keeping with the look that I'm going for. Nice and chunky, very authentic. Just want this back wall to look like it's always been there. I did, by the way, sell that copper jardiniere that I polished up in the previous video. Thanks Holly, it was much appreciated. I think she was a viewer on the channel. She went over to my Etsy shop and purchased it. That's on its way to you now, and of course the funds get back, you know, straight back into the renovation, and it's going to allow me to go and buy some timber. So yeah, thank you very much Holly, it was well received and I hope you enjoy it. Still got a bit of digging out down there to do, but I don't want to disturb this area down here yet until it sets properly. Like I mentioned before, it's a gradual process. I can't rush into it. I don't want to undermine, you know, any of my work and undermine the strength of the wall. So once that post is underneath the cross beam, it will really lock this area together. Put a bit of downward force on this wall as well, which will help with the external force coming in this way. So yeah, I'm pleased with how that's going to look. What do you think? Do you think it looks authentic? I think it will. And then I've just got to think what I'm actually going to finish the wall off with. I'm going to make a frame, I'm going to put some posts either end. This will run sole plate, wall plate right across the base of this. Then I'm going to construct another internal wall inside this sort of framework. That might be in oak, might be in oak planks. See what he's got at the wood yard when I visit them. Yeah, as long as it breathes, which oak will breathe, you know, I don't want to trap any moisture through there. So, and then with the post, you can run up and pick up the underside of that beam there, so it starts to lock it all together. And if at a later date there's any problems with a rot or anything in that supporting beam, don't forget this cross piece here supports all of those floor joists. So if that goes there, you start getting some movement in the floor, so that would certainly address that going forward. Bit of additional support there. And then if you can imagine that this, which is soil at the moment, is the actual stone, the second course of the stone, we just simply do the same this end, post on there, and that will pick up the underside of that beam as well. Now I have been to lots of historic places that have used this kind of construction, so yeah, it's definitely in keeping. It's nice and chunky, it fits in with, you know, all the other timber work, and of course the surround by the entrance and the fireplace. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with that actually. The more I look at it, the more I think that's a good idea. So 3 posts, probably 3 of those, probably come in 2 metres, so 6 metres wide. Maybe some for the top, smaller ones. Yep, that sounds like a plan. Okay, I'm off to the wood yard. I'm going to get there before he shuts. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.